Hello and welcome to this demo on string manipulation, where we'll explore some of the string activities available in Studio by building a project that will append user details from a text file with an email address. The email address must contain the first name and the age of the user. Are you ready to find out how we can do this? Let's get started. We'll create a new project and name it String Activities. The user details are stored in the project folder called Input, and we'll iterate through each of them to update the email address of all of the users. What activity can we use to iterate through files within a folder? Indeed, we'll use a ForEach file in folder. Next, we'll need to provide the folder path to the text files. So, let's go ahead and create an argument called in_input folder path and add the path in the default value field. We'll create another argument called in_output folder path that contains the path where the text files containing the updated details will be created later. A quick note here, make sure that the current working directory is the folder in which the project is created. Let's move on. We'll now provide the folder path and filter out only the files containing the .txt extension. Next, we need to store the data from the file so that we can perform string manipulations on it. To do that, let's add the read text file activity and provide an annotation. Then we'll reference the full name of the current file and create a variable called str_details to store the output. Alright, we're now ready to extract the first name. Let's add a new sequence to the workflow, rename it first name, and provide a description. Next, we'll look for the string activity called text to left or right and add 2 instances of it to the workflow. As you can probably guess, this activity retrieves the text to the left and right of an indicated separator. We'll add the variable str_details to the full text field and use the string firstname space colon as the separator to retrieve the string to the right. Let's create a variable str_text to store the extracted text located to the right of the custom separator. In the following activity, we'll use the variable that we've just created and retrieve the string to the left of the new line character. The resulting string contains only the first name. Great! Let's save it as str_firstname. And finally, we'll add another string activity called modify text to the sequence. This activity allows us to perform string manipulations such as find and replace, combine text, trim, and text to upper or lower. Let's add the variable str_firstname as the text to be modified and save the result in the same variable. Next, expand the Add Modification drop-down and select the Trim Left and Right option to remove any leading or trailing white spaces from our variable. Awesome! We've now completed the sequence to extract the user's first name. We'll now move on to extracting the age. Let's add another sequence to the workflow. Rename it as extrapolating age and add a description. We'll use the same activities to extract the age as we did for the first name. Let's add 2 text to left or right activities to the sequence. In the first activity, add the variable str_details to the full text field and use the string age colon as the separator to retrieve the string to the right. We'll save it as str_text2. In the next activity, we'll retrieve the string to the left of the new line character from the variable that we've just created. The resulting string contains only the age. Let's save it under a new variable called str_age. We'll once again use the modify text activity to trim any white spaces and save the result as str_age. Alright, we now also have the sequence to extract the user's age. Next, we'll multiply the age by 21. But before we can do that, we must change the type of str age to int32. Let's add a change type activity to our workflow to change the str age variable type to int32. Let's save the new variable as int age and change its type to int32 in the Variables panel. Next, let's configure the format of this integer variable to have no decimal digits and no group separator. We'll now use an assign activity to update the value of the variable int age. Let's go ahead and multiply it by 21. Next, we need to change the type of int age from int32 to string using the change type activity. Let's save the result in the variable str age. And finally, we'll remove any trailing zeros and group separator using the modify text activity and save the result to the str age variable. Great! We now have all of the pieces required to update our initial user information variable, str details, with the email address. Once again, we'll be using the modify text activity for this. Let's add an annotation describing the purpose of this activity. Next, let's select the Combine Text option under the Add Modification dropdown. This option allows us to add new text to the left or right of a string. For our purposes, we'll add all of the text to the right. First, we'll add a new line character followed by email : and finally the expression describing the format of the email address. Let's save the result in the str details variable. Next, we must change the scope of the str firstname variable. Let's open the Data Manager tab and extend its scope to the For Each File in Folder sequence. Awesome! All we need to do now is to create a text file using the updated user details in the required folder. Let's look for the Write Text File activity and add it to the Designer panel. Let's add str details to the text field and use the following expression to create a text file of the same name as the original file in the output folder. OK, let's run the workflow. It all works as intended, as the updated text files were created in the output folder. To quickly sum up, we've used several string activities available in Studio to build our project. First, we use the text to left or right activity to retrieve the required details such as the first name and the age of the user. Second, the change type activity was used to change the type of a variable from one type to another. And finally, the modify text activity allowed us to perform operations such as trim, find and replace, and combine text to generate the desired result. And that's all for this demo on string manipulation. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.